And welcome back to the Kiosk Presents. You know, there's always a lot of studies being done to help us understand how technology is improving our lives. And today we've got a guest who's going to tell us about something really interesting with the kind of cars that we drive. Because, you know, depending on where you live, whether it's in the south where it's hot or in the north where it's cold or maybe where it's hilly or where it's flat, that's going to affect the kind of car that we may be interested in, and technology plays a big part of that. Our guest today is Scott Steinberg. He's a technology expert. You may have seen him on any of the networks, Fox, NBC, ABC, CNN, and he's here to join us today. Welcome to the Kiosk Presents.
Thanks, Brian. How you doing?
Doing great. So our topic today, how green, geeky, or safe for drivers in your city? Well, we're here in Buffalo, New York, and on the other side of the state is New York City. Certainly, we've got a big difference in the way people drive over there in the east and people drive over here where we don't have rush hour, we have rush minute in Buffalo, New York. Tell us, what are some of the differences that your studies show between driving habits even in our own state?
Yeah, well, what we're actually seeing, for example, in Buffalo, people are opting for features on the Escape, the Explorer, things like Sync with My Ford Touch. In fact, almost half of buyers, basically, and these are voice-activated command systems, so you can control your music. There's also a touch screen, but you can get turn-by-turn directions as you go. Keep your hands on the wheel, eyes on the road. So they really are opting to be much safer, doing the same in New York City as well. But what's interesting in Buffalo, you guys are buying a lot of eco-friendly engines, right? Ford has these EcoBoost engines, in fact, that allow you to get better fuel economy. So definitely thinking about the dollars, thinking about the budget, and also thinking about what it takes to make a smaller impact on the planet, lower emissions. And curiously, you know, what's neat in New York is they actually lead in buying habits in these vehicles when it comes to moonroofs. So apparently people like looking up at the buildings around them.
That's interesting, and in fact, I have a moonroof on my car, and I enjoy using it all the time. Now, with this study, were there any surprising results that were found in the study that was just done?
Yeah, well, there definitely were some eye-openers. I mean, for example, among the techiest cities, the ones that like to connect with all their favorite wireless devices, I mean, you're seeing things, in addition to San Francisco, which clearly leads the pack, things like I don't know, Denver on there, Charlotte, right? So high-tech areas across the country. When it comes to the most mindful city, you can see Seattle really likes these driver assist features, like you can get warning lights on your side mirrors if somebody's in your blind spot, or if you try and back up. You know, you can avoid rear collisions because they actually have a radar that'll detect if somebody's coming as you're pulling out of your driveway. And certainly, you know, when it comes to the most eco-friendly cities, there are some eye-openers. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Chicago. But these are actually areas of the country, you know, even though they're urban and people might think there may be a lot of pollution there, they're actually making big pushes to be green friendly and reduce their impact on the environment.
Well, I would think so. Some of those areas really need to take into mind just the sheer volume of cars that are on the road and how that's affecting the environment overall.
Well, that's right. And environmental friendliness across the nation, that's a recurring theme, right? People really want these engines, like they can find the EcoBoost engines, like on all these vehicles, where basically, you know, they get that power, they get that savings at the pump, and they really can reduce their impact, be a little bit greener. And on top of that, safety, they're clearly voting with their wallets and saying, hey, look, you know, we want these lane assist features, so if we're drifting, you know, there's even new features now that can help you parallel park without bumping other cars. It can actually find a spot for you and then help you ease into it, never touching the wheel. So really pretty amazing what you can see in terms of innovations in vehicles now.
That's fantastic. Now, where can people go to find more information about, you know, making their buying decisions on their next car with all this great technology?
Yeah, well, definitely if you're thinking about shopping around, you know, I would visit all your favorite car review sites, magazines like Car and Driver, Edmunds.com, but definitely if you want to check out the technology in action, Ford.com's got some great videos, great information as well.
Super, fantastic. Now, let me ask you a question, Scott. Now, obviously we're talking about technology in cars today, but you're an expert that provides consultation to software producers and technology experts in all different kind of fields, aren't you?
Well, that's right. Never a dull moment, and it's crazy. Technology is invading everything these days, right? Healthcare,
it sure is.
Automotive, so we definitely keep busy.
Well, let me ask you a question, because I've done some research recently on these 3D printers that are actually being used to produce, golly, all kind of things, tools and maybe auto parts in the future or different things. What do you see kind of in the future with that?
Well, definitely, I think going forward, people are going to be making more products at home. You may have the ability, for example, you could customize a pair of shoes on the internet. You get a template, and it will actually print out a mold for you then and there. Action figures, all sorts of crazy stuff. I really think hobbyists are going to take this in some neat direction. New types of tools, new gadgets for the kitchen, the household. And where I think this thing really gets cool is when a lot of people start doing it en masse, sharing those templates, those designs that they've created, so you can print just about anything at home. And actually, in some cases, they're even looking at, well, can we create different organs or things. I'm not sure I'd want to replace my kidney with one off the shelf that somebody made on the fly. But, sky's the limit when it comes to the future.
Oh, sure. Well, it's exciting as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I see all kind of independent businesses and things growing out of that, and it's going to be really exciting. Well, Scott, thank you for joining us today, telling us about the driving habits of people and giving us some information on where people can go to make better decisions on what kind of car they can get in terms of green and safe. It's all very exciting, and we appreciate your time today.
Well, thanks again, Brian. I appreciate it.